they could live. Oh my gosh, this is...
This one's
not a raccoon sign.
The first sighting of the Loveland Frogman was in 1955. At about 3:30 a.m., a businessman was driving down a lonely lane when he saw 3 bipedal, quasi-reptilian beings gathered on the side of the road. He pulled over, hid, and watched the creatures for 3 minutes or so. While he was observing, he noticed that these beings were about 3 to 4 feet tall, had webbed hands and feet, and distinctly frog-like heads. Then, all of a sudden, one of these creatures holds up what the man described as a sort of wand which shot out these fiery sparks. After seeing this, the man immediately left. The second sighting of the Frogman was about 17 years after the first one, and interestingly enough, witnessed by a policeman. In 1972, around 1 a.m., this police officer was slowly driving down Riverside Road due to incredibly icy conditions when he saw what he thought was a dog on the side of the road. Suddenly, the animal darted in front of the cruiser, forcing the officer to slam on his brakes so he wouldn't hit it. The car's headlights fell upon the frog-like creature, and in seconds it had stood on 2 legs, stared at the policeman, scrambled onto the guardrail, and scurried into the river. The policeman's description matches the first story. 3 to 4 feet tall, webbed hands and feet, leathery wrinkly skin, and distinctly frog-like. A second officer came back later to investigate and found scratch marks where the Frogman had been. The third sighting occurred about 2 weeks later when another officer, this time not anonymous, his name was Mark Matthews. He was driving into Loveland when he saw an injured animal on the pavement. He pulled over in order to move the carcass off the icy road, when suddenly the creature jumped up into a crouched position. Frightened by its frog-like appearance, Matthews took a shot at the creature. The animal quickly hobbled over to the guardrail, all while watching Matthews. Matthews' description of the Frogman matches the first two as well, but the creature he saw had a tail.
I'd just like to point out that over the years, Matthews has retracted his tail. The year before the sighting occurred, the creature from the Black Lagoon came out. And this was all probably just the figment of some overactive imagination of some businessman.
Are you originally from here?
No, I'm from Cleveland, so I'm a little ways away from home.
When did you first hear about the Loveland Frogman?
Well, there's a run around here that has to do with the Frogman, and I heard about it through that. I came down here for the run, and I was really interested in it, because there have been so few sightings. So I researched it, and I really got into it, which is why I go looking for it a lot.
Was it difficult for you to believe in it at first, since you're not from here?
No, absolutely not. No.
I'm from Loveland, so I just grew up with the tales. To me, it's just a natural thing, really.
No, I'm from Milford, actually.
Is that, really far away from here, or?
No, it's actually just down the river. Well, I was in school, and there were some kids that wanted to go hunting for this Frogman thing, but I don't know, they'd go splashing around in the river and just looked absolutely ridiculous, but I don't know, I don't think it's real.
Well, I'm from Loveland, and then one day I went canoeing, and the guy at the counter told me about the Frogman, and they were joking about it, but I definitely took it seriously.
I have lived in Loveland all my life, so I kind of grew up with tales. My mom used to tell them as bedtime stories, so it makes sense that I would believe them.
So how did the group form?
Well, we were all frequenting the same canoe place.
And we all started to notice that we had the same equipment, like plaster and frog hunting supplies.
Yeah, eventually we all just kind of teamed up together, Strength in numbers, easier time frogging.
Yeah, definitely strength in numbers.
I'm just here to keep reality in check.
How did you two meet?
Do you want to tell it?
No. Do you?
Let's just tell it together.
Okay.
So, I was out hunting for frogs one day in my canoe.
And I was kind of doing the same thing. It was overcast, it just rained, it was perfect conditions.
Absolutely perfect. And we just happened to wind up at the same place at the same time.
We didn't really reveal our motives right away, just because we were kind of wary of the other person being a skeptic,
But as soon as we saw the equipment that each of us had in there, it was love at first sight.
What happens if you break up?
That's like asking, what if there's no Frogman?
What if you don't find one?
Well, they're real, so as long as we keep searching and keep doing what we're doing, I'm sure that we'll find it. Persistence and determination is the key to frogging, and we've tried to work that into our relationship.
Why do you believe in the Loveland Frogman?
Well, originally I didn't believe that much, but when I started to do some research into it, I just saw the overwhelming evidence that there is for it, that proves that this Frogman definitely exists.
And what evidence leads you to believe that it exists?
So, there's footprints, there's scratches on the guardrail, and then there's 3 sightings, 2 of which were by very reputable people, police officers. So, I definitely believe their word for it.
Well, growing up with the myths, researching it, who can't believe it?
Why do you not believe in the Loveland Frogman?
There's no evidence. Footprints, I can make footprints. Who gives a shit? When a body shows up, or some bones, or even little frogman droppings, then I'll believe.
Even though the canoe guy was joking, I saw prints in the mud and I was so scared.
Since I grew up with legends, it was completely natural for me to believe. And when I was a child, I saw one.
You saw the Loveland Frogman?
Yeah. I was in my backyard playing hunting for fireflies or something, and I saw some firefly light off in the woods that was reflecting off of something, and so I went and I looked at it, and it was a frogman, and it had these giant eyes, and it was staring at me. We stared at each other for a minute and then just vanished.
How did you know it was a frogman and not something else?
First of all, its eyes were as big as my fist. It was shaped like a frogman. It had a frog head. It was 4 feet tall. I stared at it for a minute and then just kind of hopped away. Found web feet tracks in the mud, so there really is no other explanation.
So have you ever seen the Loveland Frogman?
I've never actually seen one myself, but my hope is that I can have the next documented sighting. In fact, that's Stacy and I's dream, is to have the next documented sighting so that, we can get verification for this thing we've been hunting for so long.
No, for all the hunting I've done, I've never seen one, but I'll hear the quick rustle in the brush, quick slip in the water, right before I see the little bugger. They're fast. Down close, I've seen little ripples here and there, but otherwise, nothing.
I've never actually seen one. I've only seen prints in the mud, but Trevor and I hope to find them and study them further.
So how do you attract a Loveland Frogman?
Well, since they're basically just giant frogs, all you have to do is hunt them the exact same way that you hunt frogs. So you just put bread or some worms or something in the water, wait for them to show up. They're kind of shy though, so you have to be very, very quiet. Look for them mostly at night, dawn.
Just like any frog, just put out some worms, some breadcrumbs, anything really.
Have you ever been frog hunting before?
No.
Well, since they're basically a hybrid of a man and a frog, you hunt them pretty much like you hunt frogs. Leave out a little piece of bread here and there. And they're nocturnal, which is why they're not spotted very often. So you have to hunt them at night most of the time. So, yeah, you just use your standard frog hunting techniques.
I don't know. Make ribbit sounds?
What do you say to skeptics?
Do you believe in Santa?
That's a long debate. I get into a few fights about it. It's just a matter of time proving it, producing a body. It took a while for them to prove that the Earth orbits the Sun, that microorganisms cause diseases, that microwaves cause cancer. It'll take a while, but it'll happen.
I try to avoid the skeptics. It's a bunch of ugly drama, but just let me frog in peace, and they can all do their own thing.
Basically, the whole thing is believing principle. You just have to have faith, That's how discoveries are made. Someone thinks something crazy, and then you go and you find it, and then you prove it, and it happens to be real. That's exactly what we're trying to do with the Frogman.
So what would lead you to believe that there's a Frogman?
Some hard evidence. Like I said, body or droppings or bones or something. I'm out here with these people to basically not discourage discovery. Basically, if there was anything legendary out here, then I'd probably put my money on, Bigfoot or something. Really, if there was something that was going to be, walking around in some kind of legendary times, it'd probably be a man-ape. But a frogman, please.
How do you feel about Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster?
I mean, Bigfoot is definitely real. You know, I used to be in the junior league for monster hunters in the Bigfoot division back in Cleveland. It's a prestigious position. I found footprints a couple of times on numerous occasions, so Bigfoot is without a doubt real. Loch Ness Monster I'm a little more skeptical about. I mean, he's basically a dinosaur, and dinosaurs are extinct.
Bigfoot's real. I've seen him while I've been frogging.
Bigfoot is definitely real. I mean, it's like the missing connection. He's an ape-human hybrid. And then, the Loch Ness Monster, oh man, that's so real too. There's so many sightings of it, it just has to exist.
Well, I think the Loch Ness Monster is definitely real because there's been thousands and thousands of sightings. People see it all the time. I've seen so many movies about it, there's no way it can't be real. Bigfoot, I'm a little bit more iffy about, but there's also been hundreds of sightings and the evidence is just staggering. There's just like no possible way that many people could have seen it and have it not be real.
Really dumb. I don't get why we're out here. This whole thing just seems like a waste of time, you know?
Oh my god, guys, come and look at this! Oh my god, it's real! Look, you can see the webbing. These are definitely real.
Oh my
These
god.
are frogman prints. Oh my god.
Oh my god,
Oh my god, it's real. They're around here.
This could be footprints.